Alright, so for the last part of chapter homeostasis, we are going to look at role of ADH and aldosterone. Basically, ADH it stands for antidiuretic hormones. Okay, so this basically is the hormone that causes more aquaporin to be present at the collecting ducts and also distal tubule, so that more water will be reabsorbed. Alright, and the other one, the other hormone is the aldosterone. Okay, untuk nota saya kali ni yang bahagian akhir ni ada sikit pertambahan information lah. So kalau awak rasa dia penting dan berguna, so bolehlah awak tambah information tu dalam nota awak. Okay, it's just an elaboration of the original point in your notes. Okay, so basically the role of ADH and aldosterone, it depends. The role of the kidney basically it depends on the combination of instruction from the nervous system and also the hormones. Okay, the hormonal control. So these two, nervous and hormonal controls, manages the osmoregulatory function of the kidney. So the two hormones are the ADH, antidiuretic hormone, and also aldosterone in the renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. RAAS. So you have to remember this lah. Renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. So it involves a series of reaction. Okay, to allow the aldosterone to work. Okay. Okay, so in the hypothalamus, you have a set of receptor cells. We call it as osmoreceptor, which monitor the osmolarity of blood. Okay, and also it regulates the release of ADH from the posterior pituitary gland. So kalau awak tengok structure hypothalamus in the brain, hypothalamus, hanging down from the hypothalamus you have the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland ni terbahagi kepada dua region, posterior and also anterior. The detail function of the pituitary gland we are going to look at in the chapter on hormones. Okay, but just to inform you that for hypothalamus, hanging down from the hypothalamus you have the pituitary gland that is divided into anterior and also posterior. So each of these two regions of the pituitary gland will secrete its hormone, its different hormones, okay, that have different function towards the body. But in this case of antidiuretic hormone ADH, it is released from the posterior pituitary gland. Okay, so ADH makes the epithelium of the collecting ducts to be more permeable to water. Okay, so maksudnya kalau if your body wants to conserve water, okay, so it means that ADH will be released and causes more aquaporin to be present at the collecting ducts. Okay, so this will cause more water will be reabsorbed, okay, by the body. Okay, so as you read here, the ADH, okay, makes the epithelium of the collecting ducts to be more permeable to water by influences water uptake. Water uptake ni maksudnya water reabsorption lah, okay, by the body. So by increasing the number of aquaporin in the plasma membrane of the cell. Sel mana? Sel pada dinding collecting ducts tu. Okay, collecting ducts tu kita belajar semalam all the way daripada structure nephron tu kan, the proximal tubule, loop of Henle, distal tubule, and then enter into the collecting ducts. It is made up of cell. We call it as transport epithelium. Okay, so membrane of the transport epithelium tu, sel tu akan ada banyak aquaporin lah. So basically this aquaporin are embedded in the cells of the in the plasma membrane of the transport epithelium cell, okay, lining the collecting ducts. So bila banyak aquaporin ada pada plasma membrane of sel-sel tersebut, so lagi banyaklah air akan di reabsorb daripada lumen of the collecting ducts. Okay, dia masuk melalui aquaporin and then out into the interstitial fluid, into the blood circulation. It enters into the capillaries, okay, surrounding that area. So basically it is near the vasa recta, okay, in that region. So the mechanisms, it says here, when the solute concentration rises above a set point, which is 300 milliosmoles, ADH level increases. Maksudnya kat sini, solute concentration rises above set point, 300 milliosmol. 300 milliosmoles adalah normal set point untuk concentration of your body fluid. Okay, kalau okay your body fluid its solute concentration rises above this set point, maksudnya or your body fluid or your blood is lacking water, you have more solutes in your body fluid, in your blood for example. So it means that this is when the ADH will take part. Okay, the ADH will be released. Okay, so more ADH will be released or will be secreted. So this increases the level of ADH, okay, circulating, and then reaches the target organ, which is the kidney, specifically in the collecting duct region and also the distal tubule. Okay, so this will signal the collecting duct to increase, okay, step up or increase the reabsorption of water. Okay, so maksudnya sekarang badan awak ni nak meningkatkan kadar pengambilan air dalam badan. It does not want the water to be removed as urine. Okay, the water has to be reabsorbed back into your blood circulation. Okay, so badan awak akan menghasilkan ADH lah. So resulting in the concentrated urine, okay, reduces urine volume and lowers blood osmolarity back to the normal set point. Okay, so itu peranan ADH. So more ADH will be released so that more aquaporin will be present at the collecting ducts and more water will be reabsorbed. So when more water will be reabsorbed, the urine produced is much more concentrated, the volume of the urine will be reduced, and it lowers the blood osmolarity back to the normal set point, which is 300 milliosmol per liter. So for the second situation, when the solute concentration is dilute below the set point, so it means your for example, masa lepas awak minum air dengan jumlah yang banyak contohnya kan, so solute concentration in the blood is dilute. Okay, you have more water in your body, so ADH level will drop. Okay, water reabsorption will be reduced, okay, resulting in increased discharge of large volume of dilute urine. So this is the opposite situation from the first point here. Okay, so solute concentration in your body fluid is dilute, so you produce more urine, okay, because less water will be reabsorbed due to ADH level that decreased. Okay, so kalau tengok kat gambar rajah ni, so this is the normal blood osmolarity, 300 milliosmol per liter. This is the normal set point for blood osmolarity. So the first situation, in this situation, for example, blood osmolarity increase. Okay, so your blood concentration increase. You have less fluid within your body. Okay, less water. So for example, after sweating profusely. Okay, so this will signal the hypothalamus, okay, the osmoreceptor in the hypothalamus to trigger, send information to the posterior pituitary to release the hormone ADH, okay, ADH hormone, antidiuretic hormone, and this hormone will cause more aquaporin to be embedded, okay, or present in the cells of transport epithelium at the collecting ducts. So when more aquaporin are present, more water in the filtrate within the collecting duct will be reabsorbed back into your blood circulation. So water in the filtrate in the collecting ducts here, okay, will be reabsorbed, will move out of the collecting duct through the aquaporin into the interstitial fluid here and into your blood vessels, okay, and back into your blood circulation. So another Another corrective mechanism triggered by the hypothalamus is that the hypothalamus will generate thirst. Okay, so dia akan menyebabkan awak rasa dahaga dan minum lebih banyak air lah. Okay, kat situ. So this will increase the water, the quantity of water in your body fluid. So this will bring back, okay, the normal blood osmolarity back to the normal set point, which is 300 milliosmol. Okay, so kalau kita tengok ke gambar rajah ni, so this is the collecting duct cell. Okay, so kalau tengok ke sini, so ini daripada distal tubule kan, this is part of a nephron. Ini imagine kat sini ada Bowman capsule, and then ada proximal tubule here, and then you have the descending limb of loop of Henle, and then ascending, and then distal tubule, and then enters into the collecting ducts. Okay, so semalam saya cakap collecting ducts dia akan collect filtrate daripada several other more nephrons, contohnya. So the filtrate here, obviously, when your, for example, when your body wants to conserve water, so the water within the filtrate has to be reabsorbed. So dengan cara apa? Dengan cara ni lah tadi. So ADH released by the posterior pituitary, released from the instruction by the hypothalamus. Okay. So hypothalamus trigger posterior pituitary to release ADH. ADH kat sini kalau awak tengok dia adalah sejenis hormon yang it is made up of protein. Okay, ADH is a hormone that is made up of protein. So because this hormone is made up of protein, it cannot enter into the cell. So the ADH hormone, this hormone will only bind to ADH receptor that is present, okay, at the plasma membrane of the collecting duct cell. Kat sini, okay. So by binding to this receptor, it triggers a series of reaction to occur within this cell. We call it a signal transduction. So mechanism by hormone ni kita akan tengok masa chapter hormone nantilah, kan? So this is just an introduction lah. Okay, so the ADH hormone will only send information. Okay, it triggers the cell through signal transduction to undergo a series of reaction where more aquaporin will be embedded, okay, at the plasma membrane of the collecting duct cell. Okay, kat sini kalau kita tengok pointer one by one, so ADH bind to the membrane receptor. Okay, so receptor triggers signal transduction, a series of reaction to occurs within cell. Okay, and then yang ketiga, vesicle with aquaporin water channel are inserted into membrane lining lumen of the collecting ducts. Yang ini awak kena recall balik lah chapter 2 dan 3 yang kita belajar semester lepas kan. Kita belajar pasal rough endoplasmic reticulum that have ribosome attached to it. So the ribosome produces protein and end up in the lumen of the cisternae of the rough ER, and then package into transport vesicle, and then bawa ke Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus modify the protein, and then the protein will be packaged into vesicles again, kan? So inilah cara dia. So vesicles again, and then embedded in the plasma membrane of the cell through exocytosis as the transport vesicle, kan, or in this case is storage vesicle, transferred it fuses, okay, it fuses with the plasma membrane of the cell. So as the storage vesicle fuses with the plasma membrane of the cell through the process of exocytosis, the aquaporin here, okay, that was initially at the membrane of the vesicle will be embedded, okay, will become part of the plasma membrane here through the process of exocytosis. So this aquaporin akan menyebabkan lebih banyak air daripada lumen of the collecting ducts, okay, to pass through the aquaporine, travels through the collecting duct cells and out into the interstitial fluid. So tolong label kat sini kan. Label kat sini bahagian kuning ni adalah lumen of the collecting ducts. Bahagian region ni. Okay. So dalam ni ada apa? Ada filtrate. Okay, ada filtrate. Dalam filtrate ada air. Air tu nak di reabsorb lah, because your body wants to conserve water. So dia akan masuk melalui aquaporine ni, melalui collecting duct cell and out. Okay. So aquaporine channels enhance reabsorption of water from the collecting ducts into the interstitial fluid. So this is the interstitial fluid before it enters into the blood capillaries surrounding this area. Okay. Okay, so this is another diagram. It says here normal water potential of blood. Okay, which is berapa tadi? 300 kan? 300 milliosmol per liter. So it says here, this is one situation where blood potential of blood decreases. Water potential of blood decreases. So blood is too salty. So it means that the concentration of blood is decreased. Okay, water potential maksudnya dalam darah tu ada sikit je air. Okay, so your body wants to conserve water, so blood concentration is high at this moment. Okay, blood concentration, the solid concentration within blood is high at this moment, and the blood will have, or your body fluid will have less water. So your body nak apa? Nak conserve water lah sekarang ni pada masa yang pada masa situation ni. So this is detected by the osmoreceptor in the hypothalamus. Okay, so most osmoreceptor cells in the hypothalamus will trigger the posterior pituitary gland to release ADH. Okay, so posterior pituitary gland releases ADH. Dia punya target organ dia adalah kidney. Okay, so kidney ada nephron. So dia akan, the ADH hormone, antidiuretic hormone, increases permeability of the distal tubule yang ni So distal tubule and also collecting ducts by embedding or by increasing, okay, the amount of aquaporine in this region. So when there is more aquaporine in this region, the collecting ducts and also the distal tubule, more water will be reabsorbed into the blood vessels. Okay, more water. So this will increase water potential of the blood lah. Okay, so this reduces the blood water potential back to normal. So as the result of this action, so your body will produce small volume of hypertonic urine. Okay, sebab banyak air dah diserap balik masuk ke dalam badan awak, so urine yang terhasil tu akan volume dia akan menjadi lebih sikit dan lebih pekat. Okay, small volume of hypertonic urine. So in the second situation kat sini, water potential of blood increases. So your body has more water. Okay, more water. So blood is too watery. So this is detected by the osmoreceptor in the hypothalamus. So this will trigger the pituitary gland, the posterior pituitary gland, to release less ADH and causes the distal tubule here and also the collecting duct to remain impermeable. Impermeable kepada apa? Kepada air lah, because less aquaporine are present here. Sebab sikit ADH kan, less ADH release, so less aquaporine will be present at this region, the distal tubule and also the collecting duct, so less water will be reabsorbed. Okay, so it means that in the filtrate you have more water, thus producing large volume of dilute urine. Okay, large volume of dilute urine. So this will return back the normal water potential of the blood. Okay, so the first situation, body needs to conserve water. For the second situation, body needs to get rid of water. Okay, so now we are going to look at the role of aldosterone. Okay, so this hormone aldosterone acts on the nephron, distal tubule and also collecting ducts. So ingat tu. So dia bertindak, dia punya target structure dia, organ dia adalah the kidney. So specifically dia akan target distal tubule and also collecting ducts. So it says here, okay, kalau tengok kat sini, it says here normal blood pressure and volume. Okay, normal blood pressure and volume. But if blood pressure were to decrease and blood volume were to decrease or drop, for example, due to dehydration or blood loss. Blood loss ni macam maksudnya you are losing too much blood due to certain accident, for example. Okay. So this is where aldosterone will take part, and also masa dehydrate lah, kan, your body is lacking water. Okay, dehydration. So the mechanism, low blood volume, okay, and also low blood pressure in the afferent arteriole. This is the afferent arteriole here. Ingat afferent arteriole masuk kepada glomerulus and then keluar melalui efferent arteriole. Okay. So low blood volume and blood pressure in the afferent arteriole causes JGA. JGA stands for juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay, ini adalah JGA. JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus, which is a specialized tissue that surrounds the afferent arteriole, the wall of the afferent arteriole. So this JGA will release a special enzyme, we call it as renin. Okay, JGA ni yang ada pada wall of the afferent arteriole will release renin. Ingat dia punya nama tadi RAAS kan? So renin daripada JGA yang ada pada afferent arteriole. So this enzyme renin will cleave this protein. We call it as angiotensinogen. Okay, angiotensinogen, which is a type of plasma protein, and it converts the angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1, which is a peptide. Okay, so asalnya the protein jadi peptide, and then from angiotensin 1, it is then converted by angiotensin 2. Okay, angiotensin 2, and this conversion is assisted by this enzyme, which is ACE, which is stand for angiotensin converting enzyme, angiotensin converting enzyme. So kalau kita tengok kat diagram yang ada pada sini, kat diagram awak ni, so JGA, okay, releases the enzyme renin. Okay, so renin will cleave this protein, which is angiotensinogen, to become angiotensin 1. Lepas tu enzyme ni, ACE ni, angiotensin converting enzyme, ACE, convert angiotensin 1 kepada angiotensin 2. Okay, so ini awak kena fahamkan, baca dan tengok, refer to your diagram. The effects of angiotensin 2 is that it constricts arterioles, which decrease blood flow to the capillaries in the kidney. So this will reduce the blood flow to the kidney so that less filtrate will be produced to produce less urine. Okay, to reduce water loss from the formation of urine. And then it also stimulate adrenal gland to release aldosterone. So this is the adrenal gland. As you know, it is located just above the kidney. So by the releasing of the aldosterone, it makes distal tubule and also collecting ducts to reabsorb water and also sodium ion. So this makes the reabsorption of more sodium and water, and when more water and sodium is reabsorbed, thus it increases the volume of the blood, okay, by increasing the reabsorption of water, and also increases the blood pressure. Okay, so the reabsorption of water and also sodium ion will return back the blood pressure and also blood volume to the normal set point. Okay. Okay, so this is the whole diagram lah, kan? So tengok je lah daripada awal. So this is the normal blood pressure and blood volume. So if blood pressure or blood volume drops, For example, due to dehydration or blood loss, this will be detected by sensors in the JGA. Okay, sensors in the JGA detect these changes. Okay, the changes, the decrease in the volume of blood and also blood pressure. So this JGA that surrounds the wall of the afferent arteriole causes the JGA to release renin, and renin will convert angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1, and you have this ACE, okay, angiotensin converting enzyme to angiotensin 2, okay, angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2 by ACE, and causes adrenal gland to release aldosterone that causes the arteriole to constrict and restrict the flow of blood to the kidney, and also increases the reabsorption of water and also sodium ion. So the more water is reabsorbed, so blood volume will increase and return back to the normal blood volume, and when sodium ion reabsorption is increased, this will increase back the blood pressure back to the normal set point. Okay, so coordination of ADH and RAAS, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. Okay, so both are partners in homeostasis. Both increases water reabsorption in the kidney. Okay, so but the release of ADH is a response to an increase in blood osmolarity. Kepekatan darah tu tinggi. So bila kepekatan darah tinggi, darah kekurangan air, your body fluid is low. So now your body wants to conserve water. Okay, so increase in blood osmolarity when, for example, body is dehydrated, your body is lacking water. So while the release of aldosterone is superior to excessive loss of both salt and body fluid. Okay, so for example, due to major wound, you are losing so much blood. Okay, for example, you are losing so much blood, and also severe diarrhea, you are losing body fluid. Okay, so that able to reduce blood volume, thus increasing osmolarity. So thus, ADH alone would lower blood sodium concentration via water reabsorption in the kidney, but RAAS helps maintain body fluid osmolarity at the set point by stimulating sodium ion reabsorption. So RAAS ni it stimulates, or it helps in reabsorption of water and also reabsorption of sodium ion. Tapi kalau ADH, reabsorption of water sahaja. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to look at examples of positive feedback. So common example for positive feedback, as you know, positive feedback in the human body, usually it is to complete certain process. Okay. So for example, yang kita akan tengok ni ada 3 lah. So one is done by the it involves the hormone oxytocin. Okay, so the first function of oxytocin is to stimulate contraction of uterus and mammary gland cells. So as you know, mammary gland cells is to produce milk. Okay, so for the first situation here, the hormone oxytocin, during labor, this hormone oxytocin is produced to stimulate contraction of uterus muscle. So this in turn stimulate the release of more oxytocin until the birth process is completed, until the baby is pushed out. Okay, so this is to complete certain process, which is in this case is childbirth. For the second function of oxytocin is it releases milk, okay, by the mammary gland. So during nursing, so stimulation by the infant's suckling send message to the hypothalamus via the nervous system. So a nerve impulse from the hypothalamus then triggers the release of oxytocin from the posterior pituitary gland. Okay, so kita belajar tadi kan, saya dah mention daripada hypothalamus, hanging from the hypothalamus you have the pituitary gland. So pituitary gland is divided into posterior and also anterior. So oxytocin is released, okay, by the posterior pituitary gland. So once it is released, it travels in your blood circulation and reaches its target organ or structure, which is in this case is the mammary gland. So the function of the oxytocin, okay, is that it triggers the mammary gland to secrete milk. Okay, secrete milk, keluarkan susu. So this oxytocin stimulate milk release. So more suckling and more stimulation will cause the mammary gland to release more milk. Okay. So this activation of the pathway is sustained until the baby stops suckling. So for nursing actually dia melibatkan dua hormon sebenarnya. So hormon prolactin is the function of the hormone prolactin is to stimulate mammary gland to produce milk. So cell of the mammary gland produce milk, tapi susu ni, the milk produced by the mammary gland has to be secreted, dikeluarkan daripada sel tersebut, daripada mammary gland tersebut. So in order to secrete the milk, it is done or instructed by the oxytocin. Okay. So remember that these are the two hormones. Prolactin produce the milk. Oxytocin is to secrete the milk from the mammary gland. Okay, so ni adalah flow of childbirth lah. So the control of childbirth, the mechanism of childbirth. Okay, so first the stimulus. So fetus is pushed against the uterine opening. Okay, so sensors, receptor in the inferior uterus detect increased stretched and then send the information to the integrating center, which is the brain. So brain receives stretch information from the uterus and compares with the normal set point. So if above the normal set point, so it will trigger the pituitary gland to stimulate increased secretion of the hormone oxytocin. So oxytocin will be released into your blood circulation and reaches its target organ, which is the uterus. So the response is that oxytocin causes the increase in uterine contraction. So positive feedback loop completed. So results in increased force against inferior uterus, which is the cervix. Tengok structure female reproductive system. You have the uterus and then the cervix. Okay, is the canal for the baby to be pushed out. Okay, promoting the birth of the baby. Okay, so selagi baby ada kat dalam, the baby will cause the baby will pushed against the cervix. Okay, so this will increase oxytocin released until the baby is pushed out. Okay, so for the second example is the release of milk during nursing. Okay, so here is the stimulus. Okay, so example stimulus is suckling. So this stimulus will send the information to the hypothalamus, okay, to the brain, to the hypothalamus, and then hypothalamus sends the information to the posterior pituitary to release the hormone oxytocin. Okay, oxytocin, and also it releases oxytocin. Okay, posterior pituitary secreted oxytocin to your blood circulation, reaches the target organ, which is smooth muscles in the breast, which has the mammary glands, and the mammary gland, the cells of the mammary gland produces the milk by the hormone prolactin. So this milk has to be secreted out by the hormone oxytocin. Okay, so so the response is that milk will be released. Okay, oxytocin secrete milk. Okay, secrete milk. So so this is a positive feedback. So as long as the baby is feeding, is suckling, the milk will be released. So the process will stop once the baby stop suckling. Okay. So the third example is blood clotting. Okay, so process of blood clotting. The mechanism is initiated when injured tissue release signal chemicals that activates platelets in the blood. So activated platelet releases chemical to activate more platelet, causing a rapid cascade and the formation of blood clot. Okay, so blood clotting is an example of positive feedback where when there's platelet, it activates more platelet to form blood clot. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 3. Thank you, class.